We are back at it again with another episode of Whiskey and Water. I'm your co-host, Jess.
I'm your co-host, Olivia.
And we are back at it again.
We used to do that, actually, in our beginning episode.
I feel like we should bring it back.
I'm your co-host. Should we?
Yeah.
You know, because we do have new
looseners. I love you, my little looseners. My little loosey-loose.
I love you, looseners. But yeah, you know, we do have new looseners. Oh my God.
Olivia is having a seizure as we speak, a stroke.
Okay, we're going to pretend that didn't happen.
Well, we would love to thank our sponsor.
Let's get right into it.
Let's just get right into it. I'm not going to let you have any more strokes. We would love to thank our sponsor, Celsius. Celsius has carried this podcast on their backs for the past couple months.
Guys,
we couldn't do it without them.
Here's the thing. Our Celsius contract is about to expire. And, you know, we just love them so much. We know you guys love them. You tag us in all your stories because you're buying so much of it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're just throwing this out there. If we renew our contract, we will both shotgun
a Celsius right here, right live.
Like, we're doing it. I'm manifesting it.
We might do it anyway.
We might do it anyways because I just really want to do it.
But we would love to provide some incentive here for the brothers. So please, when you guys drink your Celsius, tag us, tag them. It makes us look good.
Yeah,
and if you guys aren't already put onto this shit and you need more convincing, here we go. Healthy energy accelerates metabolism, burns your body fat. I can say this off the top. I know everything about Celsius at this point. It has 7 essential vitamins proven in 6 published university studies. We love someone who's legit. And has no high fructose corn syrup, no aspartame. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah,
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. No preservatives. I think it's aspartame. No official colors or preservatives. Fuji apple pear. Give it a freaking try.
Give it a try. Link in our description. You guys know the deal. We put people on outside of this podcast and inside of this podcast. Where
I put people on inside all the time.
Like we were just at a shoot and she was like telling the makeup artist, she's like, I fucking love Celsius.
She because what did she say? She was like, oh babe, how do you work out in the afternoon? And I said, I pointed right at my fucking Celsius because guess who had it at her shoot? Because she real.
Because we're real and we're true fans.
And she was like, really? And I was like, yes.
Yes. I really
Am I a fucking liar?
So, no. You know, Aless, we're ready to shotgun these.
Yeah.
That's it.
Balls in your court.
Okay, moving on. Guys, we have an awesome episode for you.
But before we get into that, we would love to do our moment of gratitude.
Today, I am thankful for my home and my comfy bed because that is something that I just never, ever will take for granted.
Even though you heard gunshots outside of it the other day.
You know what? We're not going to talk about that.
I'm not going to talk about that. It's very convenient.
That's a great thing to talk about, though. I can share that. No, you know, just like I'm so thankful to have a safe home, cozy place that I look forward to coming home to and I'm comfortable at. Not everyone has that
it's
privilege.
Your safe space.
Yeah, so I'm just so thankful for that.
Today, my moment of gratitude is I love people and I love showing my people love. Mm-hmm. And today I'm grateful for Dante. Dante is our friend. He's a photographer. His Instagram handle is @Tiro, TIRO _ if you guys want to peep him. But yeah, I'm really grateful for Dante. We started shooting together literally 5 or 6 years ago, back when he was shooting butts, you know, I don't know if you guys remember when that was an era of Instagram.
It truly was though.
People were just shooking butts and that was the cool thing to do.
That was the thing.
Whatever, it was hype beast type shit, whatever. That was the equivalent. And so back then I had to have an honest conversation with him and be like, listen, you're way better than this. You need to stop shooting asses.
Good for
and
you.
Now he is, not that I have any part to do with this, but now he's an incredible photographer.
I made you.
No, and so we've just went from
close.
having that working relationship to being really, really good friends. And he was on the boat with us. Mm-hmm. And I think I mentioned this in the last week's episode, but he shaved my nickname into his chest.
Yes, you did.
In hair.
It's amazing. It was amazing.
People need friends like that.
Yeah.
And he was shooting our photo shoot that we did today. And he just makes everything much more fun and lively. So today, that's who I'm grateful for.
We love good energy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go into our little catch-up time in our little mystery beef segment. But before we even get into that, I just want to let you guys know this episode is bomb.com. We're talking
so good.
We're talking with with our friend Allison, who is a relationship coach, and she actually reached out to us, and as soon as we got her email, we were like, yes, you are coming on the podcast. You are telling us everything you know about relationships and breakups and how to make a successful, thriving relationship happen. And
I mean,
we had such a good, I know we say this every time we have a guest on, but like really, wow, we had such a good conversation.
Yes.
Like she's such a professional.
She's so eloquent, so well spoken, just really
knows what she's doing.
Just very, very blunt, very just out there. Like she just knows what she's doing. We talk about, breakups, relationships, dating, post breakup,
being single, but you're looking to be in a relationship, what you can be doing in the meantime to be the best version of you. Such a good episode. We have all her information at the end of it. We'll leave it for you guys.
And you guys, obviously the description, you can go there, you can find her website, but you have it's great.
A lot to look forward to this episode. But before we get into that, let's do a little bit of catch up. Squirt.
Catch up.
Wow,
brother.
It's been a while since I said squirt.
I don't feel like it has. Maybe just to you. But today we had such a fun shoot. We shot together. We haven't done like a little campaign together in a while.
We haven't shot anything together in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, obviously because of COVID, that definitely slowed things down. But we had such a fun shoot.
It was 70s style. It was for a weed brand, actually. Yeah.
Catch us fucking smoking that loud.
This was my first shoot for a weed brand.
I got high as
I didn't. I was like, I cannot.
Liv
do
was
the
like,
podcast.
I'm not inhaling that. I'm like, okay.
I was like, I'm not even, no.
I inhaled, like, I was a little bit, like, I wanted to feel a little bit.
I'm very particular about my highs. I definitely don't want to be
you're a little bit more
sensitive
to it.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll forget how to model. Like, I will be in front of the camera and
drooling.
be like, literally. I'm not kidding.
No, so I mean, I was hitting it a little bit, and I obviously didn't want to get too high either. One, because I was driving us, and two, because we were filming this after. Guys, we're professionals.
We're elite professionals.
Guys, should we do an episode of High as Fuck?
High as Fuck. Honestly, maybe a bonus episode would be hilarious. We need to
stop playing and do an episode, one, drunk, and then two, oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah, one, me drunk.
Forgets our brand.
Yeah. Literally forgets you're allergic to alcohol. I'm like, we need to do a fucking drinking episode.
I'll chug water.
No, we need to do something fun like that, though.
Yeah. I'm down. If you guys have any special requests, like
we'll do it all.
We're here to please you.
We're out here trying to shotgun Celsiuses, get high as fuck. Anyway, so our shoot today was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Just good squad, good vibes.
In other news, we had this brunch at the one hotel the other day, and I just think it's so comical because like for some reason no one got the memo that it was like a Tulum beach lounge, beach club vibe.
It was like literally like sand. Like we were on the sand.
We all show up in like just the wrong outfits. Like our friend had like a pantsuit on. I had boots on. I had leather Steve Madden boots on.
I had like fall ones.
And I showed up to a beach club.
Okay? Like almond toe booties, and I'm wearing like
so
fucking.
Funny.
I'm wearing like a long sleeve, and I'm wearing like this linen skirt that like just if you get it wet or sweaty, it's see fucking through. It's fucking see through. And so like I was like I had to check myself when I fucking stood back up because my ass fucking was sweating so bad.
I don't know why. No one got the memo. Like no one knew what to expect.
No one did their due diligence and like looked up what the place was.
Showed up wrong.
So that was
funny.
Sweating
our
asses off.
So hot. The sun was out, but it was just so funny because I was just
we were all just dying.
We were just like laughing at it. Yeah. We're like, okay.
And of course everyone's like looking at us
like,
where
are these bitches going?
Like we're like walking with our heels in the sand.
You took yours off and I was like, mine are coming off.
Yeah. Fuck that. I did because I was like, I will not have someone take a video of me while I'm trying to walk in the sand with heels and my heels are sinking through and I look stupid. God.
It was tragic. Never again. In other news, wow, we are gonna find out who the president is tomorrow.
We're not gonna find out. I mean, it's election day. I don't think do you find out the same day?
Yeah.
Interesting. Really?
I think.
I mean, this is only my second time voting, so I'm really
too.
Not super well versed on this shit.
I'm almost positive. Yeah, like that night we end up finding out.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I feel like it would maybe be next day. Regardless, we want to just put this out there.
No, it is that night. Because I remember when Trump got elected. It was that night.
I got fucking hammered that night.
And I woke up the next morning and there was the craziest sunrise and I was like, it's about to be an interesting 4 years. And here we are.
Can you believe it's been 4 years?
Like, yeah. Like, no, but yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's just been crazy. I mean, I literally had a mental breakdown when Trump won. Like I was out at a bar with a couple of my friends, and we literally just cried. Cried.
Yeah, me too.
It was so sad.
But anyways, I hope we are not crying tomorrow. Let's put those good vibes, guys. If you haven't voted already,
please,
no vote.
Your vote is so important.
No vote is a vote for Donald Trump. And
you guys know,
not to get political here. You know what? I'm not against the Republican Party. I'm just against Trump.
No, I'm not against. I don't even identify as a Democrat or liberal or whatever you might see. Like there's some things that I agree with Republicans. It's not much, but it's there.
Right.
And like we said, we're not against the Republican Party.
Not at all.
We are against Donald Trump.
We just believe everyone should be treated fairly and equally, and that everyone should have the same rights and be protected. And that's, when it comes down to it, we value human rights over any sort of financial benefits. But that is our personal opinions.
I saw today, it was like, when did human rights become so controversial? You know what I mean?
And become political. Well, yeah.
And keep in mind, guys, if you have an issue with Biden raising the taxes, please keep in mind that he's only raising the taxes for people who make more than $400,000. And even then, if you're making more than $400,000, that's, in my opinion, that's more than enough to live off of. And I just feel like giving back to people that are less fortunate is more important than wealth hoarding.
There's a lot there. There's a lot to go into that we could go into, but we won't. That is, of course, our personal opinion. We are in no way forcing that on our listeners, but it's just, it's election. It only happens once every 4 years. Like, we have to talk about it. I kind of do wish we did a dedicated episode, but if you guys do want to hear a really strong, just political kind of episode, we have on our friend Max Frost, who is our leader in March for Our Lives, and we have a great episode with him talking about kind of privilege and diversity and things like of that nature.
Yeah.
So really go ahead and give that a listen if you haven't already. And let's just all cross our fingers and hope for a better America tomorrow.
And go vote.
And go vote, please.
Catch us here next week.
Seriously,
will it be next week?
Even like one of my best friends was about to not vote, and I was like, "Bro, you realize no vote is a vote for the person that you don't want in there."
Exactly, dude.
So because I think a lot of people, it's just like they hate picking between two
lesser evils.
Two lesser evils, which I totally understand, but it's just like
but not voting is a vote. Yeah. Essentially. Like, you have to think of it that way.
And so many people don't have the opportunity to vote, like people who have
gotten convicted or
so vote for
aren't citizens.
If you don't want to, do it for someone who wants to but can't.
Yeah.
And that is our piece on that
little spiel.
And before we get into the episode, we're going to plug our side hustles. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I did my home tour video last week. I have my Colorado vlog coming out soon. Bunch of fun ideas with me and Jess coming out. So go give that a subscribe, please.
And if you haven't already followed my vintage home decor shop at the Casa Experience, it's really fucking cute. I'm not just saying that.
You'll be glad you did.
Yes. And if anything, use it and if you're not based out of Miami, I do ship small or light items. And if anything, use it for inspo, because I shoot everything and style everything really cute.
Yeah, her content's super cute, and it really just inspires you to create a nice, pretty home for yourself.
Yeah. So I would really appreciate some love there, guys.
And let's get into our mystery beef.
Yes, mystery beef. This is related to this week's episode. And we do talk a little bit about it at the end of the episode.
But we got to go in depth now.
We really just got to... We gotta get into this.
We gotta hammer it home.
We gotta call you out if this is you.
So everyone knows that girl or guy. I'm not gonna single out the ladies here.
Exactly. This one is for the boys too.
Girls or boys, both of you. Everyone knows that person who post breakup starts posting all the stories, all the captions, all the thirst traps. Okay.
They just make their business so known.
Worst behavior.
Yeah, like you're on your worst behavior.
I'm on my worst behavior, bitch.
Doing better than ever.
Better than with you.
I want to pull up examples because I just know that there's just so much good shit.
You just know. You can tell in what a girl
in the wording
or boy is posting on their stories.
There's so many memes out there that just don't deserve to be seeing the light of day. Like from those cringy ass people who are like, I know I will never let a motherfucker treat me wrong again. Like, you know, like those text memes. Like, it's like a tweet that's...
I don't know who you're following. I'm thinking about the girls and boys who, you know, every weekend
are like posting like milk and honey.
Oh. Yeah, every weekend they're at the bar with their friend girls' night.
I'm thinking of the girls that are reposting like the Rupi Kaur quotes from Milk and Honey, and it's
yes.
It's like, I was bred, but he liked pita.
No, I'm
literally.
Dead,
do you know what I mean?
Dead,
No,
yes.
like the bitches who are posting shit like that. Like, and oh my god, the memes that have been made from that are just so fucking good.
And you know, if you're this person, I get it. Like, you know, I can't say because I don't know what I would do in that situation right now with my social media, but it's just like it's just funny. It's just the type of girl or guy.
And it's funny. I mean, you know, and
it's not funny to watch unfold, but it's like funny and like the, you know, I don't want anyone to think that we're like making fun of anyone, but it's just like, I mean, you just know, it's
definitely cringy sometimes. Definitely check yourself before you wreck yourself.
It's the shit that you send to your best friend and you're like, okay, we get it, you're single.
Yeah,
type shit.
Exactly.
Type shit.
Exactly. And I think that we were saying even in the episode, like it is a bit of like a coping mechanism. Like it makes people feel better to like, I guess, have their business out there and like let everyone know that they're single and ready to mingle. Or that they're like
going out every weekend,
or that they're going through it. Because like when I'm like picturing this, I'm picturing the people that are posting like sad shit, and it's like that's keep that shit to yourself.
See, I'm thinking about the person who's like going out and is like, I am a free agent, baby. Let the world know.
They're really just drinking to cover up their sadness.
And this goes to, I think we talked about this in last week's episode, how like a girl's best friend will dress up as a dude and then like put guy shoes on and pants on and a watch and then like take an over the top photo so it looks like she's with someone.
That shit's so fucking funny.
It's great.
When
keep doing that.
Yes, that is the only proper way to post about moving on.
Truly,
as having your best friend fake it and look like a guy.
Truly,
that's the only acceptable thing here.
That is the only thing we will accept, brothers. So now you know.
Now you know. If you don't know, now you know. That shit's cringy. You look stupid doing it. But, you know, also live your best life.
Also,
you know what I mean?
You know, we say it all the time. Live your truth.
I mean,
if that's what you want to do.
Otherwise, how would we know that you're
single and ready to mingle?
Like,
I mean,
it is entertainment.
You'll find out by the end of this episode that Instagram is a dating app. So if you didn't know that before, now you know, and you'll know it at the end of this episode with Allison that we're going to get into right now.
All right, guys, we are on with Allison. Allison, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for having me.
I feel like when every time I like open up a like a conversation, I feel like it's so like we're on a show.
Oh, like a talk
we are
show?
On with Allison.
Like
Allison.
a talk show.
Yeah, but
it is like that though.
We really kind of start off like that, and then we get more casual. But thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here this evening.
Yes, we realized that we haven't really done a dedicated breakup episode, and we figure who better than a specialist. So if you would like to introduce yourself to our audience, go ahead and take a moment. Let them know who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Allison from Align with Allison, and I am a dating and relationship coach. I specialize with working with women, particularly those in their 30s and early 40s, to help them find the partner that they deserve.
Amazing. And
love that for your clients.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really curious, how did you stumble into this career path?
Yeah, so initially and still actively, I'm a counselor, and I've been a counselor for 10 years. And in the top of the year, I came to the realization that there are a lot of women who are in need of coaching and guidance, particularly because I was one of those women. I was in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere fast, no level of commitment. And even though I very clearly stated what I wanted and what I expected, I just wasn't getting it. And I chose to walk away, and I had the ability to do that, right? I just had the confidence and the strength to do it, but there are so many women who they don't have it. And so combining my experience in mental health already, and then my personal experience with struggles with romantic relationships, I just decided that it would be a perfect marriage, so to speak, for those two things to come together and for me to offer my own expertise to help women find that partner that we all know that we deserve.
Absolutely.
I love that so much. And you don't really hear about relationship coaches often. You know, you always hear about therapists and family therapists, but I think this is such like an underestimated role. Like, I think so many people need help in their love life. And I think like for you to find your niche and know that like you can actually be out there helping people with something that's so important in our lives.
And plays such a huge role in our lives.
It's huge, you know?
Like, you know, you're spending, you know, you spend half your life in relationships, essentially. I mean, you know, not everyone. Some people, you know, stay single their entire lives, but
live your truth.
Yeah. Either way, we love it for you. But I think it is so important because it's like you spend not even just like, and I think that I'm sure that your services carry over into so many other aspects of life. You know, you can say it's like a relationship and dating coach, but I mean, it's really, when you break it down, interpersonal skills, you know, communication skills. You know, really learning how to express yourself and learning how to understand others. So I, you know, love it if you kind of gave us an idea of, you know,
what maybe a typical client looks like.
Yeah, like what's someone that like really comes to you, and how does that kind of process go for you?
Yes, absolutely. So in essence, my clients are, again, women, because that's my choice, the client I like to work with. And
we don't blame
you. But, you know, actually, I have a story for that. So I'm going to take a step back. Okay. Initially, I actually wanted to work with men. Again, I'm assuming we're talking about heterosexual relationships.
Yeah, correct.
Initially,
Thank you for clarifying.
I wanted to work with men, but after conversations with a couple of friends, and just reflection in general, I believe that men tend to not listen to women as much as they would listen to men.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
So
you are
a woman
not wrong.
a woman would tell their partner, babe, you know, you should consider working out because you're getting a little round, you know, in the belly area. And then he would dismiss her. And then when his boy's like, yo, we need to go to the gym, bro.
Yo, bro, you're getting fat.
I'm like, I just said the same thing, but it went in one ear out the other. Then when your friend said it is a different story. So actually, initially, I did want to work with men. But nonetheless,
then you were like, I'm wasting my energy right now.
I'm wasting my time.
I don't think they're going to listen. So I decided to take my talents to women.
You know, we love our men too. We love our men too on Whiskey and Water. We love you guys. But definitely, I feel like women might be easier to guide in a sense. I feel like in general, they're just a little more open to receiving
and in
advice.
Tune with their, you know,
willing to be vulnerable, etc., etc.
Yeah,
we could go
in
on
tune with themselves.
We could go on about why females are
women's the superior,
the elite species. Continue.
Yes. So, in regards to what my client looks like, so she's a woman, and she's again in her 30s and early 40s, and that's important because women who are in their 30s and early 40s and either don't have any children yet or don't want to have another child unless they are in a committed relationship or married are going to be more open to the help that I can offer. So if someone's in their 20s, they have the rest of their youth, they have all the time in the world. Why would they hire a professional to guide them in their dating and their relationship?
I feel like saying last resort sounds bad, but these women are just desperate. They're like, please, I'll listen to anything you say.
In the best way possible. Yeah. I think it is kind of like, okay, it's, you know, time's running out. Time to seek professional help, which is you.
And that's what I say. Like, I say that time is of the essence. I mean, time's always of the essence, right?
Correct.
Life is short, blah, blah, blah. But seriously, for women, if you want to have children and you want these children in wedlock, or you want it with someone who's like seriously committed to you and you believe it and you know it, then you really don't have time. Like, it's unfortunate, but
it's
God
did
not bestow the ability for us to procreate for our entire lives like men. So we're not under the same, like, we're under a level of pressure that men will never be able to appreciate.
Oh, yeah. Or relate to or understand.
I like briefly had a conversation with my girlfriends over the weekend about this, but that's the first time I've heard it really like eloquently said. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
And wow, you're so right. Like, we, like, as a personal issue, like, a man will never have to go out throughout their life and be like, oh, I have a ticking clock, you know?
Like they can procreate like later on in their life. Like we are under a ticking clock. We're under a sort of like rush. And not to mention the bodily, responsibility, but like the societal pressure that we also experience to procreate.
And
have children, and like I feel like in society we're seen as like that's our duty, that's what we're supposed to do.
And I feel like that changes relationships for men and women so much. Like we have this underlying thing that we're like, this has to kind of get done. And
if people choose to go that route, of course. Some people choose not to have children, and more power to them.
Live your truth.
And I feel like not only that, but like women, like every month we go through hell because our bodies are like, give us a fucking kid. Like let's get knocked up. And like we have like that, and and I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself and for others. Like I have that baby fever sometimes. Like my body is literally like, I want a child, and I have to be like, yo, chill out. We have have shit to accomplish.
There is a legitimate desire, like our bodies, because we're animals. There are hormones that turn on within us that say, if you don't get this done now, it will never happen. Like it's an internal pressure, it's a societal pressure, it's reality. And so that's really what my ideal client looks like, and what my clients are. They're in that age range. They either want to have a second or third child, or maybe even their first child, which that's when the pressure is really on. And when you're in your late 30s and early 40s and you don't have that partner, then it's time for you to look for some professional help, because if you don't get it done now, it will never happen for you.
Right. And then there's the whole process of, it's so funny because I was just having this whole conversation with my girlfriends over the weekend of this whole process of like, then you have to try to get pregnant, and that's hell.
Yes.
Like I don't have any personal experience myself, but I've seen just through social media that is a complete,
that's a struggle.
That's a whole other monster,
Yes.
So you definitely like the sooner the better for a lot of women. I'm curious to know what your system kind of looks like. Like, what is it? Mostly advice? Is it moral support? What does that look like from your end, and like what you're bringing to your clients?
Oh, that's a good question. So it's not like cheerleading. I used to be a cheerleader, so I'm not talking down to the cheerleaders. And I'm actually a cheerleading coach, but it's not cheerleading. So it's not a situation where clients will come to me and tell me their stories and I rock them to sleep like a therapist. It's not therapy whatsoever.
Right.
And I'm not taking anything away from therapy. It's very important, but therapy goes backwards and talks about what has gone wrong through like childhood from day one to now to get you where you are and bring that to the surface. Where coaching is like, there is a very specific goal at the end, and we have to reach it no matter what may have happened before. So we don't have time to talk about the daddy issues. Like, yeah, you got it. Oh, well, find a therapist. What can we do now? Because time is of the essence.
Right. You're kind of like hands-on, goal-oriented. Let's move forward.
Yes. So the first thing we do is we set goals. So we talk about what is it that the client wants? Do they want to be? And again, this is not within our session time, but just in life, like their life goals. We talk, is it marriage? Is it commitment? Is it another child? What does it look like? Right.
Right.
What are their relationship goals? And then they have very specific tasks and homework that they have to complete from a week-to-week basis so that we can get them there. And the approach that I coined is called the SSS approach. So the first S is self-reflection. What have I done? All me, 100%. What have I done to put myself in this situation? Where have I gone wrong in my romantic relationships in terms of selection, in terms of giving people 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chances, in terms of dating someone for 14 years, knowing it wasn't going anywhere, and now you're surprised you're in this situation. So the first S is self-reflection. And again, we have tasks and activities around that. The second S is to step up. So how are we going to improve who we are as human beings so that we can attract that partner? A lot of times, and I find especially with women, we have this laundry list of what we want from men, and we aren't even compatible to half of the things that we expect from them, and men are the problem. But like, if you presented yourself as you are right now in this moment, and this ideal man walked past you, would he even notice you? Like, would he be into you? Would he be attracted to you? Do you have the qualifications of what a man like that would look like? So then our process is, how are we going to improve our behavior, our personality, our outward appearance if necessary, whatever it is to make us the ideal mate so that we can attract the ideal mate that we have listed on all the assignments that we've been writing for weeks, right? And then the last step is to sit back. So it's self-reflection, stepping up and then sitting back. In the sitting back, you need to allow love to come in. You have to open up. So that means letting go of the hurt, letting go of the pain, right? Because that becomes a barrier between you and this amazing potential mate that you're looking for, that you say you're looking for, but would be turned off by you because you're coming across so cold. So we have to sit back, open ourselves up to love. Mm-hmm. And we also can't be thirsty. Like, we can't be chasing behind people. Like, you just have to allow it to come to you, because that level of desperation comes across very clear.
Yes.
And when someone is desperate, others can read it. And they're going to do two things with that desperation. They're either going to take advantage of you if they're not good people, right? She's desperate, so I can live in her house for free and drive her car and run up her credit because she's so desperate just to say that she's got a man. Or desperate's going to come across as, what's wrong with her that she's so desperate? Something's got to be wrong that nobody else wants her. She's sweating me, so I'm going to run the other way because I don't want to be around people who are desperate.
Right.
Of course.
That's where the sitting back comes in.
Yeah, I think that there's so much.
There's so much to unpack there.
Yes,
that was all so good.
Yeah, that was incredible. But I think that it is so important to, like, put yourself first. Like, you have to love yourself. You have to, like, take care of yourself first. And it is so true. Like, it does come across like, you know, your ideal mate. Like, you would want your ideal mate to be able to identify if someone's being desperate. You know what I mean? Like, you want them to, like, you know, be with it, and you really have to
and pick up on those nuances and that energy too. Yeah,
it's all about the energy, and you have to be coming at it from the right place. Mm-hmm. Like, doing it, you want to do it for yourself to attract the right mate, not to not for them.
Right. And that's super important. So when I talk about breakups in regards to women, we talk about, yes, you're going to step your game up. You're going to be the most attractive you've ever been. You're going to be the most fit that you've ever been.
Of course.
But you're doing that for yourself because it helps to mend your heart and to rebuild your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And then if by default the ex sees it and he's like heartbroken because you're so amazing, then that's secondary.
If the shoe fits.
Right. I mean, and if you attract the new guy as a result, that's great too. But you really need to be building who you are as a person because of you. Like, you should want to be kinder if that's your thing. You should want to be more formally educated if that's your thing, or making more money, or be more physically fit, or take care of, you know, your hair and your nails, whatever it is that you realize has been problematic for you in the past. You should want to improve because you should want to be a higher quality person, if you want to put it like that.
Yeah, and for yourself too, you know, like that step 2 that you mentioned, we talk about that all the time, just working on yourself to be the best version of you, so that when the right person does come along, you are, you know, like,
you don't have all that fucking baggage.
You know what you're bringing to the table.
Exactly.
You're like, hi, this is me. I'm working on myself. My skin is glowing. I am hydrated. Yes. Take it or leave it. Like, my bank account is full. Take it or leave it.
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about, I mean, that's a really consistent theme in our podcast, is just like, and when we have talked about dating, you know, so many women out there, I think, are in that space of really wanting a life partner or wanting someone to cuddle with that night, you know, like, it's human nature. No one wants to feel alone. Mm-hmm. And I think that can push a lot of girls, especially women I feel like women at any stage of life, really, but it can push them to be a little desperate and to, you know, do things they wouldn't normally do. So
I mean, there's fucking Hallmark movies about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the desperate girl, you know, meets the shitty. There's just it's such a cliche.
And settles
for the guy who, you know,
isn't right
is a booty call and then treats her like shit and never commits,
yeah.
and then, you know, all of a sudden she stands up for herself and starts working out and then lands the dream man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we just constantly try to, you know, drive home to our listeners, like, just be the best version of you. Focus on you.
For you.
And then
Absolutely.
let fate do its thing. Let the universe fucking do its thing.
And in our opinion, and we've said this before, like, we feel like the best relationships come about when you're not searching for them. You know,
sometimes.
Like, yeah, and
when you're open to them.
When you're open, you know, of course,
them.
open to it. You know, and you can be on the dating apps or whatever it is, but you're not like, I need to get a boyfriend or I need to do this, because, like, realistically, you know, you don't need those things. What you need to do is set yourself up for success, and then let whoever is a good fit for that and, you know, takes you as you are, like, then it's a good fit. But then if it's not, and you're like, I need to find a boyfriend, then what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure. You're trying to force a puzzle piece that is just not meant to be. And what you're doing is, like, one, like I said, you're setting yourself up for failure, but also, like, you're delaying the process to your future soulmate. You know what I mean? Like, you can't settle because you're literally just, like,
you're doing a disservice to yourself and your soulmate.
Yes. And your soulmate.
So to your point in regards of I need to have a boyfriend. So I've had a client who's uttered those kinds of words, and what I helped her so what I helped her see, what I guided her to see kindly was that again, it's not about, like, the guy, right? So she's like, oh, I used to be with such and such, and I need him back, okay, or and I need to have a boyfriend. So then my question is, do you need him back, or do you need a person back? Like, are you sad because you no longer have him, or are you sad because you no longer have someone that you can call on to pick you up from work, or
give you attention?
Your car breaks down, now you don't have the designated tire changer, you
right?
don't have someone who's warm at night, you don't have someone to bitch about work. Like, so is it that you really miss this person and you love him, or do you love the idea of him and the idea of being with someone? Because those are two drastically different things, and we need to take two drastically different measures to figure out what is really the issue here and how to resolve it.
Yeah, say it louder for the people in the back. But yeah, and you know, it's not to say that all of those things aren't valid, because they are, but you need to make sure that you're seeing through clear lenses.
Yeah, 100%. And that you're being, I think the first step is just being honest with yourself, like brutally honest, being like you have to take a hard look at yourself and be like, I'm fucking desperate right now. I want some fucking dick. I want some guy who's gonna fucking cuddle me, who's gonna, you know, pick me up. I want flowers.
Which is fine, you know?
Hear me out. Do those things for yourself first. Get a dildo. Fucking
buy yourself flowers.
Take yourself out to the fucking movies. You gotta date yourself.
Like, you have to date yourself. You have to get to know who you are, so that you know what your triggers are. You know exactly what you like and what you don't like. So that what your boundaries are. Absolutely. So that when you are dating, in your dating process, you know how to vet people. I think one of the biggest issues in the dating scene is that we're not vetting folks appropriately, and then we're surprised 6 months down the line when we, like, hate each other. And why didn't you know this? Because you didn't know you, and you didn't vet them. And
you sure as hell didn't know that person.
This is why we wasted so much time.
And, you know, even vetting yourself too, so that when you do get into that relationship, you can say, hey, these are my issues and this is what I'm working on. I already know, so I don't need you to tell me what my issues are. I already know, because I've done the self-work and self-reflection.
And I think that finding,
like, hey, this is my baggage. But it's better to be transparent about it, you know?
Of course. And, you know, from the get, I almost, and I don't know, you can tell me if it's fucked up or not. But when I'm, like, first dating someone, like, if I'm, like, you know, out on the scene dating someone, like, I don't know them, like, super personally, I will be the most extra version of myself. I'm like more aggressive. I'm probably a little bit more bitchy. And don't get me wrong, I'm charming, I'm cute, I'm whatever. But I would definitely try to be a little bit more, because I'm like, I gotta see what they can handle.
Can you handle this?
This is how I am. And if they can't, you know, take me here, then they definitely can't handle me down the line if we get into an argument or whatever it may be.
So
she's like, you're fucking toxic.
She's like, you're a crazy bitch.
That's not an approach that I would recommend, only because I think that your premise is kind of problematic. So you, in essence, what you're saying is that you're coming on super strong and kind of like showing out and amplifying your worst versions of yourself, so that later on down the line, if something came up, you're not surprised. Like, this is who I was. You knew this from day 3, right?
Okay, but also, you need this as background. I think that is coming from a past relationship of her later coming out of her shell, later into the relationship, and then being reprimanded for it. So I'm just... It's almost like a disclaimer.
It's like,
you that information to work with, Coach.
I'm like...
I get it. So instead, neither one of those are things I would recommend, right? Mm-hmm. You need to come out of the shell immediately and present your truest self. Right? So there's no delaying. Delaying is really bad, and I get that. Yeah. But then the over
dramatic.
I would say it's not even over.
It's just the most.
I think it just like this is what could be expected.
1 out of 10. This is my 10.
Yeah.
Can you handle it?
And it's not even like I'm not like going fucking psycho. It's not like I'm like, I'm fucking crazy, handle me. It's like, it's more like, you know, I'm being more sassy. I'm being more, you know, I'm taking less bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just very, like, I'm very cutthroat when I'm, like, dating. Because, one, I don't have the time. And, yeah, and if they can't handle me, you know, a little bit more, you know, an elevated version of what some people would consider not my negative traits, but you know what I mean?
Just extra.
Yes, your negative traits, but okay. All right, so, all right, but wait.
You need a coach to tell you how it is.
But just for clarity, are you purposefully overreacting so that you can set yourself up in a position where later on, if you were to overreact, it's not a surprise?
No, I would say in general, I'm not like, I'm a pretty level-headed person as it is. I don't really I don't know, then again, catch me on the wrong day.
Catch her when she's hungry.
Yeah, catch me when I'm hungry. But no, I would just say that I'm more cutthroat. Like, I take less shit. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, you know, I just, like, if a guy, like, slips up or, like, does me dirty, I'm just,
she's
like,
calling it out then and there.
Yeah, I call it out.
Okay,
like,
but that is your true self. That's
yes,
your
it
true
is.
self.
It is, and that's why.
Okay.
But I will say that in a relationship, I'm more forgiving. Of course, you know, you tend to be, like, you know, you love someone. I am a little bit more flexible and forgiving, and, you know, almost to a fault. But yeah, definitely, like, if I'm dating someone, I'm just very, like, I'm almost the most true version of myself. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not taking this shit, you know. Definitely, I was being dramatic.
Okay. So that's what I would support. I would support being the truest form of yourself in the absolute beginning. And you hit the nail on the head when you said, when you're in relationships, you're more forgiving. So when I said that the premise is faulty, to say I'm going to show you, like, the worst version of myself now because I want to see if you can handle it in the future. But yeah, they'd be able to handle it in the future because they love you in the future. They don't love you right now. So you shouldn't be an extra bitch, like, right now, if that makes sense. Like, you shouldn't be extra difficult right now. You should be your natural, truest self. And then we're talking about months and maybe years down the line when something does come about. When you are extra difficult, it's no big deal because they love you. And so just like you said, when you're in a relationship, you're more forgiving. So it's not really as big of a deal.
Yeah. And you know, to be frank with myself, I'm not ever more difficult. Like, I'm not gonna, like, go out of my way to be more difficult about anything. You know, of course, circumstances happen, fights happen, shit happens, but, like, it wouldn't be, like, uncalled for. I wouldn't just be fucking crazy for I'm like, my boyfriend listening to this, like, I beg to differ. And
he's, like, taking notes.
And for the record, we are both in committed, healthy relationships. Yes. She's engaged. I've been with my boyfriend for almost 6 months now, and we've known each other for, like, 8 years. So he knew exactly what he was signing up for.
He knew who she was, yeah.
He knew exactly what he was signing up for. And we went through, like, a lot before making it official because I thought that I didn't want to be in a relationship. So I feel like we kind of, like,
you guys vetted each other out for sure.
For sure.
But I love that you kind of offer that outsider's perspective because sometimes that's what people need. They need someone to, you
call
know,
them on their shit.
Because what we were saying was, like, be honest with yourself. Are you being desperate? Sometimes you can't even tell that for yourself. So having a coach be, like, straight up, and we can tell you're a very straight up person. You're like, this is what it is, which I love. But sometimes people need that little, like, reality slap and be like, no, like, this is what you're looking like.
Especially when they're friends. Like, you can't necessarily always rely on your friends to be brutally honest with you because you know, they're biased
and they don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, it really is, like, the true outsider's perspective that we feel like can be so helpful.
Yeah, I mean, what I offer as well is that, so there's a couple of services that I offer, right? And included in the coaching, and some of it is, like, outside of the coaching too, but I look at social media accounts. So I do, like, a social media analysis. And we talk about what we're taking off of the accounts, what we're adding on to the account.
You're like, amazing. You look fucking thirsty in this photo. Take it down.
That's amazing.
And what you're looking for, what you say that you're looking for, doesn't match your profile. So, for instance, I had a client who said, like, one of her priorities is, like, a Christian man, right? Like, he has to believe in God. And right. And then she has posts where she's dancing on top of her head in the club. So when this Christian man comes across your page, and not to say that Christians don't party and have a good time, but I'm talking about plenty of posts where she's literally dancing on her head.
Okay.
So when this Christian man comes across your page, and then he sees that you're partying and you know, you're drinking and you're smoking,
not being
and you're
a woman of God.
That doesn't align with what you say that you want. And I'm not judging either type of lifestyle, because lifestyles don't align.
Correct.
So we talk about, which one do you want? Like, do you want Christian ratchet, or do you want Christian, or do you want ratchet? Because this is not really making sense. So you need to delete this, delete that.
Wow.
We need to add this, we need to add that. If you say that you're dating and you're open for love, then we need to remove all the man-hating posts, because when you say that men ain't shit, and that doesn't make sense too, but I'm also a lover who's looking for commitment. Like,
it makes you look bitter.
Right. And unattractive, and turn people off from you. So that's a part of it too. And another part that I want to add is that folks might think, well, Alison, like, what about the dating profile? Like, you didn't say anything about that, which I will, but we don't realize that our social media profile is a dating profile.
110%.
100%.
Our, what's the other one where people put their professional stuff on?
LinkedIn.
Your LinkedIn is a dating profile.
Wow, you're not wrong.
Any representation of who you are online is a dating profile. One, because people will literally try to date you, like they'll DM you.
Yeah.
They stay hitting up my LinkedIn messages.
Yeah.
And they will do it, right? And then two, if someone cares or is interested in knowing more about you, if they meet you on a dating site, then the first thing they're going to do is see if they can find out more information about you through your social media. So you have to make sure that your social media aligns with what you say that you want. And then the dating site too. So I also look at dating site profiles, and we're very clear in the about me or the descriptor or whatever the app might call it.
Wow.
You have to be very specific with your language as to what you're looking for. You have to be mindful of the photos that we do post. We have to be mindful of the photos that we choose not to post. Like, all of those things matter. Your presentation matters. Your messaging matters, because it's going to make the difference between the right person reaching out to you and the wrong person reaching out to you and wasting your time.
Totally. That is such, I've been out of the game for so long now, but like, that makes so much sense. It is a dating profile,
and it's a modern approach. And I love that you like take that into consideration. And I like what you just said about the messaging, because like, if your messaging doesn't align with what you're looking for, like if you're being extra flirty in the messages, or being, too thirsty, or whatever it may be, and you're not attracting the right kind of people.
And that's like that's a first impression.
It
so
is.
Every little detail matters.
So you could meet a guy who, is on the dating app just to fuck, yet if you in your messaging handle it correctly, you could potentially, find someone with someone, like,
yes.
Not everyone needs to be ruled out on a dating app just because, they might be on there for fun. I mean, we stumble into things that we didn't expect to come to fruition all the time.
Right.
Yes,
and I love that you that's that unbiased opinion, again, that your friend will just not give you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
she'll be like, message him, see if he'll come out tonight.
Literally. No,
and
but
it's like, nah.
I know so many people who would love your services. I'm just like, oh my God, like,
you're like about to send your profile to all your
of Tyler's friends. I'm like, please. My fiance.
They need
his whole group of guy friends.
They need a line with Alison.
Up. And I'm like, guys, it's been like 10 years.
None of them have had it.
Please bring a lady around me to hang out with.
So I'd love to talk a little bit more about breakups, and it's a part of life. Everyone goes through a breakup. I would be interested in hearing, what that's like with your clients.
Yeah, and like your professional opinion on it.
And we don't want you to like divulge too much. Of course, whatever you feel comfortable with, but I just think it'd be, everyone goes through it.
Yes, absolutely. So luckily for me, for my clients, I haven't had anyone yet who just refused to let go. Like,
okay.
By the time they've gotten to me, they're in a position where they know that it's just not working and it hasn't worked for a long time, and they're ready to move forward.
Okay. So are they coming to you pre-breakup or like right post-breakup?
So far for my clients, it's post, like well post.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But in interacting with just like potential clients or interacting with my social media audience, I realized that there are significant problems with breakups. And so I actually wrote an ebook called Move On Sis. and it detailed 5 steps on how to move on from a breakup. Because even though, again, my particular clients haven't had that issue and they're like poised and ready to move on, there are so many women who just literally don't know how to, or don't do it as quickly as they should, because again, time is of the essence. We don't have time to fool around.
And I fucking love that, and I wish that I had found out about that ebook about 2 years ago.
Yeah, literally.
Because fuck, I mean,
I think that just any guidance, you know, I keep saying this because I just see so much value in this type of coaching.
Like, the friend isn't enough sometimes.
The friend isn't enough.
Like, she was my, you know, relationship and dating coach when I was going through this breakup.
I wasn't enough.
And she was not enough.
I'm a great friend, but I'm not a fucking relationship coach. I don't, you know, like, I can give you my best, but
you know, sometimes people don't know that that's what they need. Because, you know, I was really trying to, when I was in this relationship, we broke up like 10 times. Like, over the course of like a couple months. Like,
you violated step number 2. It's okay.
Yes. I violated all sorts of codes and rules.
A lot of things were violated in this relationship.
Yeah, a lot of things. And so, I mean, I think that's just so
have
beneficial.
A step-by-step guide and just like some sort of guidance, you know. I think that's the thing, is like,
or knowing when, you know. I think knowing like that's like our
when
biggest
to call
thing.
It quits.
Because, you know, when you love someone and you're committed, you're like, fuck, I saw a fucking life with this person. I wanted to, you know, you're trying to make it work so bad that you're literally blind. So having that outsider's perspective of, because sometimes it is so clear from the outside, and, you know, look, in retrospect, I'm like
painfully clear.
I'm like, oh, I don't know who I was back then that was allowing these things to happen, and, you know, was trying to force something so much. Because, I mean, just now in my life, we're in a place where we just really try to let whatever comes come, and, you know, just letting things flow is
not so much resistance.
There was so much resistance there. And so I just think that,
what's your advice, I guess, like, for people in that period of the relationship where it's just like they don't know what to do?
I think that even more specifically, like, how would you say, like, how to know when it's time?
So you know that it's time when the other person either tells you it's over, or they're behaving like it's over, or you said it's over, or you're behaving like it's over. So when I say behaving like it's over, I mean dating other people, staying out for days on end and not responding to you. Like, they've made it clear either with their words or their actions that they are no longer interested in being committed, then it's over. And I know that sounds probably like a very silly response, because duh, right? But no, when that someone says like those words, we're not 16, right? So if someone says, I don't want to be with you anymore, they don't want to be with you anymore.
And they're not going to want to be with you when they try to get back together. They're still not going to want to be with you.
It's over. And if they say, I said it out of anger, then that means that you have a problem, because you don't have the ability to communicate appropriately. You can't manage your anger. And so you have bigger problems than worrying about whether or not you have a girlfriend or boyfriend. If you say it because you're drunk or you're high, then you have bigger problems than worrying about having a boyfriend or girlfriend. So as soon as someone says those words, either you or the other party, or they're behaving as though they've moved on to someone else or moved on from you, it's over.
Okay,
go ahead. We have questions.
You can go first.
Do you believe in second chances?
Oh, well, that's my question.
I do believe in second chances. I do not believe in third chances or fourth chances or fifth chances or 6 or 10. So
this is just not sitting well with me.
I just feel like personally offended.
I'm like, up to 10. I'll give it 10 chances.
Yeah. Second chances.
I agree.
So with the second chance, and even with the second chance, I still don't want the words or the behavior to have ever happened. The second chance needs to be something along the lines of
very circumstantial.
Yes, like someone went to the military and said, I think it's best that we separate for a bit and reconvene this. Someone has a job
timing.
right, a job opportunity. I'm going to San Francisco for the next 2 years on this contract. So how about we pull our jets and if you said it's over, it's over. Like, you said it and it's over, and there's no backseas. We're not doing this.
She means business.
And I think that also in Olivia's case, we've already spoken about this on the podcast. Like, she broke up with her fiance a couple of years ago. They had a long hiatus. Like, I think it was like 6 months, 8 months, and then they got back together. And I also feel like that's a fair situation as well, because you really have had.
It's something to consider. It's a factor to consider.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Like, I think the length of time is very important as well.
I support that. I think that we need to look at, again, the reason.
We're in the clear.
The reasoning behind it, right? So if the reason we're breaking up is because of X, and X resolves, then there's no reason why we can't get back together, right? So
whether it's like distance or the life isn't really aligning.
Like, even if it's like maturity, but whatever it is, whatever the reasoning is, if the reason hasn't been resolved, then why are we giving this a second chance? The reason that the breakup occurred has to resolve first. There has to be clear evidence that there's been a resolution, and then once we have the evidence, then we can move forward.
See, I think that's where she fucked up.
Wait, what?
You didn't have the clear evidence. I think that's such an important thing. Like, that's such a good point.
I was getting back into these relationships under the premise of a resolution.
It was the hopefulness of
it. Also, I think it's important to note that I was heavily manipulated. Like, I mean that for real. Like, like, so basically everything was my fault. So it's like, of course, why would I not take him back if all of these things are my fault? Like, I'm the one. I'm like, thank you for taking me back. I'm like,
for the 10th time.
Yeah. So, and then it took me realizing that it wasn't my fault. Like, I wasn't doing anything wrong. And of course, don't get me wrong, I have my flaws, but it really came down to like and I think I was going to mention this earlier, like finding whose shit matches with your shit, because we all have fucking shit. And that's not to say that we all shouldn't be working on it, or, I just think it's important to be honest with ourselves. Like, and, our issues did not align. And it's no one's fault. That's the issue.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, I just think it's so important that the shit matches up, because, it is no one's fault. And, you can sit there and, like, that's why the relationship, was so rocky. And that's why we had 10 breakups, is because, like, there was love there. Don't get me wrong. Like, we cared about each other very deeply, but I think in most situations
where it's messy, they do. It is two people who genuinely love each other and want the best for each other. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to not being compatible.
Yeah. And I'm very fortunate now that, like, I've had shit come up in my current relationship, and what would have been a catastrophic issue in my last relationship is not even a speed bump, because
you're with the right person.
Because I'm with the right person right now, like, he understands my issues and can handle them, and vice versa. Like, I think it's really it's really important to know each other's boundaries and know each other's triggers, like you mentioned earlier, and be mindful of those, even in any friendship or
any relationship in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you I want to know your advice for someone who is really maybe have just gone through a breakup and they're really, like, in the red zone, struggling, upset, crying, can't get over them. What is your best advice for someone who approaches you with that?
I would highly recommend that they throw themselves into anything healthy. So if they can throw themselves into school, or throw themselves into work, or throw themselves in the gym, anything that can help you to take your mind and distract the person from the emotion that they're feeling in that moment, it will help. It will help, obviously, the distraction, right? They're not thinking about the other individual, but it's also going to build their own self-esteem, right? So if you're throwing yourself into your books, now your grades are better. If you're throwing yourself into work, now you're getting mad money on your paycheck. You're throwing yourself in the gym, now you're getting abs you've never seen before. So it not only does it feel, not only does it work as a distraction, but you'll also feel better about yourself because you're achieving more than what you did before.
Yeah, you're going to be like, I'm a catch. What's the fucking issue?
Yeah, and it has so much to deal with self-confidence too, because I think when you're going through that period, it's a lot of like, why am I not good enough? What did I do wrong? Things like that.
I also think I'm curious to hear your thoughts, because I feel like in this red zone and something that we've preached in the past is kind of distancing yourself from that person. Obviously, I feel like, this is a given, but I think it's really difficult for a lot of people because you want to know
to stop
what
checking
that fucking
their
person's
Instagram
doing.
stories and stop lurking them.
So I'm curious your thoughts on So I'm curious your thoughts on like blocking and either muting or blocking or whatever.
Yes, give it to us. Pour the tea, sis. Pour the tea.
So step 3
is
to get off of their social media. If anyone says that I am a broken record, the 2 things are time is of the essence and get off their social media. Get off. And this is why, and it's very simple. Again, we're working on breaking the emotional ties. The way that you break the emotional ties is to literally distance yourself and your memories from that person. You know that when someone breaks up, what happens? Everything you see, everything you eat, that you smell is cologne, your favorite
We literally
song.
said that last week's episode.
Like, you're just surrounded by all of these memories. You're like, I never even thought about this dude this much before the breakup. Like, why is everything around
you romanticize everything.
Right. All the good times.
We have to break the memory chain, and that's how we're going to break the emotional tie, right? So that's why I said, in order to get over, you throw yourself into something else, you're distracted, blah, 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 blah. Social media will be the devil for you in regards to forgetting. Social media does not allow you to forget.
The devil works hard, but your ex's social media works harder.
And I feel like, people listening, they're going to start justifying it. Well, they're going to be like, oh, well, we're friends. Or no, like, or we're good right now. We're friends. Like, I don't want to block them because it's going to cause more drama.
But if you check that shit 5 times a day, like, be honest with yourself.
So let's talk about blocking, right?
Yes,
when one person blocks another, it means that they don't have access to you. What we're talking about is that we want to make sure that we don't see them. So we're not going to block because 1, it doesn't solve the particular issue, and 2, they'll be able to know that they're blocked. You want to mute them because they don't know that they are muted. And since they don't know that they're muted, there's no drama. And
I love muting people.
Wow.
And that helps you from not being able to see them on your feed.
Yeah,
that is a pro tip.
It looks unbothered. That's what it looks like. Because blocking is bothered. Muting, just not even seeing their shit, unbothered. Don't fucking be, and if you're listening to this, don't be creating those fucking fake accounts and looking at their shit.
You're stealing all my stuff. That's exactly what I was going to say. Okay, let's talk about the social media piece, right? So the first thing is we're not blocking because it doesn't solve the problem. We're muting. That solves the problem. You don't see them. You're breaking the memories. You're breaking the emotional ties, right? And they don't know the difference, so there's no drama. Blocking empowers them. It lets them know that you're hurt. No, you're the strongest and the flyest you've ever been in your entire life. You're about to step into some new shit. Like, no. We do not block because it empowers, right? Makes them feel more powerful than what they are. So no. But this is the other piece. So if we stay on the profile, these are things that can happen. 1, we may see that they've moved on to someone else. And that's going to break our heart even more.
We don't want to see that.
No.
We don't want to see that. And then what are we doing? We're measuring ourselves to her. Oh, she's not as pretty as I am. Or, oh, yeah, she has a nicer body than I do. And then that doesn't bring us any kind of solace.
Nope.
So they may have moved on, and that's painful. If they're hanging out with their friends and living their normal life, is, oh, well, how come he's fine and he's just okay? And I'm the one who's sad and heartbroken here, right? Or he's posting a whole bunch of memes about how sad and pathetic he is, which is for what purpose but manipulation. If he wanted to tell you that he was sad, then he would text you, baby, I'm sad.
Or he would step his fucking game up if he was a man.
Or he'd be about his word.
He would contact you directly.
Yes.
Directly. So to put it on social media is for what purpose? To pressure you, to have other people pressure you. Oh, David's online and he's crying. Like, there is absolutely no benefit. There is nothing that you are going to gain by going on their social media. And what if you mistakenly like a photo?
Yeah, no.
R.I.P.
Oh, no.
R.I.P.
No.
Game over.
Jumping off a building.
You have lost. You have lost the game.
Jumping off a building.
So,
okay.
Absolutely no social media.
Okay,
period.
now I have a curveball for you. But then, if you don't block them, that means they can still follow you. And that means everything you post, you're aware that they might be seeing. And then you're consistently checking your stories to see if that person saw your stories and if they're like looking at your stuff. What's your advice for that?
So
do we want to be flexing on them, or do we want to not care about flexing?
Good question.
We are going to be whoever we were on social media before, during, and after.
Okay.
Right?
You're going to be healthy and thriving.
So if you've been flexing, because that's what you do on your social media, then that's what you'll continue to do. If you're low key, if you're the mean person, whatever, you do what you normally do. I would advise not looking through your stories, period. Because all it's going to do is cause anxiety.
What are you looking for? Like, I don't even know. So I don't even check if my man checks my story. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, you know. No, but I hear you. And don't get me wrong. Like, you know, when I was first going through the breakup, I was checking my
that is definitely a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
A lot of people check their stories.
I'm just saying,
certain people, they saw it.
I'm just saying, make that a habit now. Like, stop fucking checking now.
Don't care.
Yeah, don't care.
Because then if he doesn't check, you'll be disappointed. If he did check, then what? You feel empowered because you're the shit now, but y'all still broken up, so that does nothing for you.
Right.
So the first step is don't look at the stories.
It's so hard. Don't look at your stories.
And then the next thing too, in regards to the stories, is that keep in mind that there are plenty of times that we all show up as viewed someone's stories and we didn't. Like, we were looking at stories 5 people ago.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Put our phone down and it just ran through. So there's no guarantee that they actually saw it. And or people go through fake profiles all the time. So now you're looking to see who saw, and you're like, oh no, I'm so sad because he didn't see, but maybe he did through somebody else's profile. Or
he checked through his boy's phone. Like, you know, girls are out here using their fucking friends to follow a guy to check his story. Yeah.
Girls do the most undercover work.
Yeah.
Yep. So at the end of the day, knowing that we don't have any evidence whether or not they actually watched or didn't watch on whose account or profile, just don't look. Period.
And also, it's so funny because it's such a cliche. Like, everyone knows that girl who, like, you can just, she puts her information, like, not her information, but her business all over social media. But, like, you can just tell by the captions that she just went through a breakup. Or, like,
or that she's bitter. Or that she's in a fight.
Or that she's, you know, posting that thirsty post-breakup, you know,
and being
better without you caption.
Better without you.
Type shit.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I think, I mean, hey, live your truth, sister.
Exactly.
I mean,
and you know, and that truly helps a lot of people, I think, get kind of through their shit.
Get your self-esteem back.
Yeah, because, you know, like,
but then
imagine posting a picture and being like,
you
doing better. You could have had this. Like, you know how many fucking guys are gonna slide into her DM and be like,
you know, that's
true. Let me treat you right.
That's true.
Girl.
That could be a technique for staying your back on the market.
That's an ego boost.
Unfortunately,
it's an ego boost. And then, I mean, you might get some sleazy guys like, and then the right guy's gonna be like, oh, she's pathetic, and keep it moving.
See, she's about that action. She's about that healthy, non-toxic relationship life, and I love that.
You love to see it.
Wow, I feel like we covered so much in so little time. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to go over?
I mean, we really could
hit a lot of bases
for fucking days.
Yeah,
but just to keep it concise,
to the point,
packed. Like,
yeah, wow. If people want to know more about you, please plug all your things. Tell people where they can find you and follow you and check out all your stuff.
Yes, so my website is Align with Alison. That's ALIGN with Alison, ALISON.com. I'm also Aligned with Alison on Instagram and on Twitter and on YouTube. I'm starting a new YouTube program on Monday called Lunch and Love. So we'll be talking about issues around relationships and love during lunchtime, 12 o'clock Eastern every Monday.
So you're going live on YouTube? Is that the deal?
Live on YouTube.
Very cool.
Cool. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I know.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Alison. This was amazing. We thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, if you can't tell.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys like this episode, please screenshot this, post it on your story, tag us, tag Alison, let her know how much you love this episode and how much value you got from it. And we'll catch you next week, brothers.
Have a great week. If you guys can, please leave us a rating and review. Make sure you're subscribed to all of our platforms, and we will see you next week for another episode. Bye guys.